The stream is live.
Oh.
Is it live?
Through trial and tribulation, through the gods basically willing us not to be here right now, we made it happen.
We made it.
Dog do couldn't stop us.
We made it. Tone 17 just said that we look really, our shop looks really deluxe. Now I want to know where Tone 17 is from. I feel like you got to be from like England or somewhere to talk like that. But I love it. Hey everybody, we're here. Sorry we were late. We're having some battery trouble.
Oh, all kinds of issues.
Like okay. Always.
Not just with the stream.
Surrender.
Surrender.
We didn't get your package yesterday.
We did get his package yesterday. We? Yes. I just confiscated it before I had to go home and deal with it.
That's fair, because you had to go home and I had to teach. So we'll open it today. Oh, it's on 17, you're in Missouri. That's awesome. I'm going to Missouri soon.
I was going to bring it for the live stream, but due to Dog Do and me running behind time there, I missed an opportunity. It's sitting right there on my desk. Surrender, it is awesome, though. I can tell you.
What? You know what it is?
I know what it is, yeah.
Well, I want to know.
It's a kalimba with effects in it and like a mix nut. So it's got
is
like
it like the little thing that you like hit the thing, the little thumbs, like a little thumb piano? Exactly. A thumb piano.
Yes. That's exactly what it is, and it's pretty cool.
Jacksonville. Duval.
Sean is having a back.
Did you know they yell that in Jacksonville? They're all yelling Duval all the time.
Duval?
Yeah, it's Duval County. I know. I've been there. Been around.
It's crazy. I can't show you the clip either of me playing it because I accidentally, whenever I sent it to Surrender, it went as just a, like, what does Instagram have it so that nothing is? Because
Instagram hates us.
It's temporary,
It hates us.
Drives me insane.
You can click leave in the chat.
Yeah, but I, once I hit send, I was like, damn.
Oh, we're totally getting into trouble today, Tom. Sean over here might even say your name wrong again. I don't know.
Who, Beatty?
That son of a... No,
now he's
I love you all.
Spell it. Here we go.
Rusty, hello. Man, we're excited to go to Nashville. Me and Sean are going to Nashville. We're going to miss Derek. Derek's not going to make it, sadly.
Same thing. Old B. Clem won't be there either. But
well, nobody cares about
that.
Oh, we're going to have so much... Okay, we'll jump right into fun things. Have you guys seen the video? It's on the Brett Papa Stash, his channel, where he filmed. It's Guthrie Trapp and Tom Bukovac, our Uncle Larry, jamming at the Underdog.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Dude, it's stupidly good. It's very refreshing, like guitar jamming, because they're not just shredding. Like they're playing. There's no words, but they're playing like songs. There's like when Uncle Larry plays, it's like this vibe. It's cool. But Guthrie Trapp plays there every Monday. So, and Jack has already texted me about it, that video. Which I watched it before you sent it, Jack.
I think I know what we're doing on Monday.
Well, Monday night, we're going... just greasing the old wheels.
To keep Sean pronouncing my name right. Now I need to remember how it's pronounced. Beatty, right?
The day that he wrote Master Beatty, I was like, okay, I'll never not remember now. Tom Beatty, our dear friend.
Homegrown Son says next to last chemo before surgery tomorrow, getting closer to beating this each day. Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. You guys keep the thoughts and the prayers and the good vibes coming to Homegrown Son, man. I think that stuff is good, being positive.
It is, man.
And then I think you got a surgery coming up after that, if I'm not mistaken. So you guys keep him in mind for sure, and his wife.
That's right. So, you got me started on my slide journey as well, which we should do a little updated video.
He sent us a bunch of cool things, and just supported the shop and us. And so
it's amazing, man. We appreciate you.
Pulling for you hard, man.
That's right. Even outside of that stuff, too.
That's right. Yeah, for sure.
We're here for you, big dog.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. It's really fun.
That's right.
Having this little community.
It is. And then, like, all the people in the chat, same thing, where they're like, do your thing. It's amazing. And then Ned saying that they say Amelia Earhart absconded to Southern... Absconded?
Sure.
To Southern Pines.
She's been here the whole time.
Listen,
you're not wrong.
I would trade 50 Amelia Earharts for one Dale Earnhardt, all right?
Raise hail, praise Dale. That's what they say. I don't say it. That's what they say. Actually, we were a Dale Earnhardt household growing up.
We were too.
I have a in my closet at home.
You got a number 3 jacket?
Of course I have a number 3 jacket. But it doesn't get worn. You can't wear it. Like, that thing is mint. It's hanging. It's in there. It's actually not even in the closet. It's in the cedar wardrobe. There's mothballs. That's the finest imitation leather. Maybe one day I'll wear it here for you guys.
I mean, if you didn't have a number 3 jacket growing up, you didn't have nothing, dude.
The Intimidator, baby. Sometimes you gotta get a little of your paint on the other man's car to let him know you're there. That's all.
You do. It's great to see the clips of him on Instagram, like
so,
cutting through the grass.
If you know about Dale, you know about Rockingham, where the Speedway is.
Absolutely.
I live not far from there, and there's new owners. They're trying to bring NASCAR back. A lot of the racers are saying, "Hey, we'd like to go race at Rockingham because it's legendary, because it is The Rock." And July the 13th, they're having a giant open house, and I'm going to do the national anthem.
Okay. Sounds like I know where we're going to
I'm just saying that we're tying it all back to Dale and her. We didn't even plan for this, but we're back.
You, me, case of beer. We're going to rip.
Do you have the big fake hood on your wall?
You know what he's talking about. The NASCAR hood?
Oh, I wish I did.
No, we used to have
awesome.
one. Fun story about hoods before we get into talking about music-related stuff. Growing up, we would take car hoods off of like junk cars that were down at the shop.
Go down hills.
And no. They'd pull it behind the four-wheel.
Oh, you can do it, yeah.
And they'd like sling us around and around and around and try and throw us off whenever it snowed.
Oh God, Tom, I would never sing the national anthem. No, yeah, on guitar. There's a clip of me. I did it at the across the street from the Speedway is the drag strip.
I think you gotta sing it. You can't do it the same way twice.
No one wants that. No one wants that.
It's either that or you gotta roll out a grand piano.
Sit
there and play it.
Yeah, no, that would be hilarious if I brought a little Casio keyboard out there. Playing on guitar. In fact, when I did the drag strip, it was just me, the 335, and the old M80, and it was glorious turning that thing up. But yeah, and actually, I forgot we got a Jeff Gordon hat over there from Jack.
We do.
Signed. I mean, it's no Dale Earnhardt, but
listen,
still pretty cool.
I know that he's a Jeff Gordon fan.
That might be the only strike I can think of.
I won't hold it against you, Jack. But at night, I think about it.
Jack, we love you.
That's what I say.
But no, that's it. In fact, Jack, it's funny because our buddy at the Gibson garage messaged me this morning too. It's like everything's coming together.
It is.
For you guys that don't know, we're going, which you're taking a bunch of trips this month.
I know.
It's all top secret. I can't tell you where, except that we're going to Nashville.
Yep.
We're meeting Jack and Rusty and some other friends from the shop. 2 other friends. Actually, one other friend from the shop. He's bringing a friend. And I think all these guys are shopping for their sort of lifetime dream Gibsons at the Gibson garage.
It's gonna be
Sean and I are gonna look. We're just gonna lust.
We're gonna
it's gonna be fun. But we're gonna help, and we're gonna hopefully document, and then we'll bring back some a presentation to the class here.
I'm gonna hope that Mark Agnesi descends down from his throne, wearing a mink coat.
Well, I'm kind of hoping
strutting down, and he looks at me and he goes,
"Well, somebody
here's a Les Paul."
I mean, I'm not Harris 70. I'm not there in July, but I'll be there the 8th through the 12th or something like that. June. So no July plan.
Rusty is kind of rich. Just
good to know. No, but anyways, I forgot what I was saying.
Jack, you're hilarious.
Jack is hilarious.
That was funny.
Oh, but yeah, no. So my plan about Mark Agnesi was I'm going to call my buddy John at the Gibson garage. I'm going to say, hey, we got 4 guys coming. We want to help them buy, pick out guitars. Hopefully they'll give us a little room somewhere because the other guy, Joel, would like to bring his legit 59 Fender Bassman. That's what he wants to play Les Pauls through. And that thing looks sick. So I'm hoping they'll give us a little room to do that in and to try out guitars in. And maybe if they're like, oh, the casino guys have brought 4 dudes to the Gibson garage to buy guitars, why would they do this? Maybe they'll be like, okay, we got to go talk to them. That's how we're going to get Gibson guys.
I mean.
And Jack, if you help us get Gibson, you really will take your place in the
you become
the patron saint.
You're already a part of the crew.
I mean,
you would become it would be nuts. I would need to get Sky. Oh, I got an idea now. I'm gonna get Skylar to do a painting for us. that we will hang on the wall of Jack. I've got an idea. Even if we don't get Gibson, she's got to do this.
Actually, oh my goodness. Okay.
You're gonna know what it is. That'd be great.
So
prayers
what are you gonna do? You no green on you today?
I know. Yeah, I went black. I just knew we were gonna be talking about Uncle Larry at some point, and I was like, well, I better represent. Black T-shirt.
It really, seriously, go watch that video of Uncle Larry and Guthrie Trap. And
is he wearing a black T-shirt in it?
Yes, and a backwards hat, which is weird. Is Casino a Gretch dealer? We are a Gretch dealer. In fact, I procured this Gretch from the old casino. I love Gretch guitars. I was telling Sean, like, first off, this guitar is amazing. It looks black, but it's actually blue. It's midnight sapphire. You can see the blue there. You can some ways, but this is probably my least utilitarian, makes sense guitar, but it maybe brings me the most joy. It's totally hollow, doesn't work for everything, but man, I just love playing it. And I think part of it is just so sexy. It doesn't even work at all. Sometimes no, it always works. Plays great. You got to break Gretches in though. You can't, very rarely, and the Electromatics are kind of different. I think they're ready. I've owned a handful of like the Japanese made, the Pro Series Gretches. Never owned like a custom shop USA made or a vintage one. Derek actually has some cool vintage ones.
He does.
And there's a video on my channel of me jamming on one of Derek's Gretches, which was really fun. But anyways, I feel like Gretches, you got to get them, you got to have them, you got to play them, you got to tweak them. And it takes months, and then they're right. So if you buy a USA Gretch, and you're like, I don't know, you got to give it a minute.
Did you do the John Mayer thing? Did you put it in a freezer and say,
yes,
you're just going to sit there, and you're going to change?
No, I would never do such a thing. That's ridiculous. That's dumb.
Don't worry. Apparently it didn't work for John either.
Let's see. I would be, okay, man, an instrument crawl sounds pretty fun. There's definitely... a bunch of shops you need to go to. There's obvious Carter's, Groons, Corner Music's probably worth going to. The Guitar Center and there's worth going to. Obviously, you got Gibson Garage. You got like Rumble Seat is in Nashville, which is pretty awesome. Vintage stuff. You probably want to check out Eastside Music Supply. They're super cool. Probably missing some things, but you'll find them. They're there. Just ask. You'll find them. Yeah, so William Robinson, for some reason, I don't feel like the same thing on the Electromatic stuff. It's only the Pro Series stuff, which is the more expensive stuff, which you would think it's ready to roll. But almost everyone, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's how they're shipped and packaged. I don't know. They just seem like they need this one. I told Sean, when this one, I picked it up and I got it, and I was like, I knew it could be amazing. It was not amazing. This thing came with 11s, and I kept going back and forth, and then I'd tweak it, and I'd set it up, and then finally I landed where I knew I probably would with 10s on it. Yeah, but anyways. Let's see. I don't understand the Gretch tier names. I suppose Electromatic. Okay, so the way the Gretch tiers work, they have the Pro Series is all the made in Japan stuff.
That's the top.
That's the top other than Gretch Custom Shop, which if you want a USA-made Gretch at this point, you got to go custom shop, which I wish they would rectify. And there's actually rumors and rumblings, but nothing that I know for sure. But yeah, so Pro Series is kind of split into Vintage Select, which are things that are just like, how they would have been when they came out, like sort of vintage or period correct. And then there's the Players Editions, like this Falcon is a little bit thinner that way. It's still 17 inches here, so it's same size that way. But instead of having the old sort of like two switches up here where you have the tone switch, put a tone control. So it's, it's a little bit between like the neck shape and the frets, and they have these little illuminate, like these little glow-in-the-dark dots on the side, which I think is kind of awesome. So that's why these are the Players Editions, right? But that's the Pro Series. Players Editions, Vintage Select stuff, right? And then... you go down to the Electromatic, there's a center block line with the ones that are like a 335, they're semi-hollow, and there's all the Electromatic jets and all that kind of stuff. Then it goes down to Streamliner. That's but just kind of like Squire and like, made in Mexico and made in China Fender stuff, the lines are blurring between Streamliners and Electromatics at this point. Like there's some really cool special edition Streamliners. They used to be really inexpensive. Now they're making some nicer ones, and
Well, and
who knows?
something else to point out too with just streamliners in general. I always tell people this whenever they come in because they're like, "Oh, why would I buy that?" Right? Getting a streamliner is really cool because if you buy it, kind of knowing I want a hollow-bodied style guitar. That you can like swapping out the pickups and stuff like that isn't going to be an issue in as far as like a price point goes. I highly suggest them for anything that you have that you're like, man, I'd love a 335 kind of guitar, but can't quite afford one that is like a crazy Gibson or anything. They're really cool to get.
So
I had one
and some of the Electromatics too. And Eric said the Electromatic is kind of crappy. I would absolutely agree for much of the history of them. I think they're getting better. I think they're a lot better. They've revamped a lot of them. I had an Electromatic. The first Gretch I ever had was an Electromatic, and it was like a special run, and it had it was like a 5420 or whatever the model. I wish they'd just named them all instead of just the random numbers. But anyways, it had these special run pickups in it. They were like single coils. It was okay. It was pretty good, and that was a long time ago. That was like 2005 or something crazy. But I've had some of the Japanese ones since then, and have actually really enjoyed them all. But this one, I love this one a lot. So, that Electromatic Jet Players Edition, William Robinson are killer. I mean, I think they're awesome guitar, and especially when you factor in like what you pay for them, man. I mean, they're just really solid guitars, and I think they do. Gretch has done a good job of sort of voicing them so that they don't just do the kind of twangy Gretch thing you think about. They're pretty versatile at this point as well, which I think is fun. Hello, Bob. But yeah, Gretch. Try if you haven't played a Gretch, try a Gretch. Gretch are such cool guitars, and I think sometimes people just kind of forget about them. But they really are cool. And there's sort of there's a whole sort of section of like rock and roll sounds that you don't realize come from Gretch. I know everybody points to like the Malcolm Young thing, but even going back to like Bo Diddley and that kind of stuff, right? I mean, it's just cool. So yeah, check out the Gretches. This might be the coolest Gretch.
Look at that house.
That's the real deal right there too. No reissues here.
I always love the back of this thing. This thing is gorgeous. Yeah, here, let's see this thing. Look at that. If I can get the flame just right, there's like flame.
God, that looks good. Oh my lord.
Look at
that's real, boys. No relics here.
That is beautiful, dude. This is real deal. Eat 'em up, beat 'em up. Good stuff.
Okay.
Look at that thing.
Let's argue about Bigsby's for a moment. Serge LeChance says, I removed all of my Bigsby's. I like instruments to have tuning stability. Listen, I've had instruments with Bigsby's that were as stable as anything. I think sometimes what happens is those horrible licensed by Bigsby things, those have gotten better. Because some of those are on the newer Electromatics. And they're pretty darn stable. But man, if you set up a Bigsby right, and you get all the tension right, and you use the right strings, Bigsby's are pretty awesome. Now, you can't do dive bombs on it and expect it to stay in tune. But for what they're sort of designed for.
I was gonna bring that up, kind of like that in Strats and stuff like that. I think a lot of times people...
They want Floyd Rose junk out of it.
Yeah, they want to take the piss out of a trim system and not understand it has limitations. Like, that thing's meant to waver at, like, probably a half step. Like, it's supposed to go, it might go a whole step, maybe. But if you go a whole step, it's probably going to give you some problems.
I mean,
See?
Look at that, guys. What Robbie said.
I wore my Casino Guitars hat to Norm's Rare Guitars. Some newfangled shot. I'm just kidding. And Guitar Center in Hollywood, and had so many people give positive comments on Casino Guitars and the hat. California guitar scene supports you, man. Thanks so much. That's really, really cool. That's always fun to hear too, because you just don't know.
Yeah, and I want to take a moment here just to be all cheesy and lame like I usually do on Wednesdays.
Lame.
You guys make this thing so magical because that it's awesome to know that story right there is one that we've heard a few times in different situations all over the place, and it's great to hear that we leave a positive impact in a community that's sometimes not our personal community of all you guys, but the guitar community as a whole can be so negative, and it can be so like just jump on somebody, you know. So it's nice to know that we're actually a positive light within that.
I appreciate that.
I do too. Cheesiness over. Give me the heat.
Serge says Bigsby's are fine if you play with high gain distortion like Neil Young. My favorite high gain distortion Bigsby user is Chet Atkins. Amazing. Wow. I mean, come on. That's dumb. I love you, Serge LaChance. But it's okay to be wrong. No. Yeah. No. I'm just saying.
What a hard song to play. I need to go back and learn that. Mr. Sandman. Mr.
God, I can't. I wish I could play Chet Atkins. I can't. I'm a less Chet Atkinsy, more I just like big guitars to play blues. Sean's playing Chet Atkins.
Remember, like,
I for a minute I decided I was gonna do the Chet Atkins thing, you know.
And then you were like, no way.
Especially when you see like Brad Paisley do it hybrid picked.
Yeah.
It's pretty friggin' amazing, but yeah, I just can't do it.
Old shit.
We're still in the high game Bigsby players. I mean, you know, Neil Young did the Tweety fuzzed out thing with Bigsby. And again, you just can't use your Bigsby like a Floyd Rose. But yeah, man, if you're just...
I mean, well, let's get a poll in the chat, okay? You're joining Leonard Skinner tribute band. Let's talk about one of the first ever diss tracks. Or at least diss lines. Tell Mr. Young Southern Man doesn't need him anyhow. Are we Neil Young fans? Or are we?
Are we?
Are we Neil Young apologists? I guess we should say. Is that the common phrase?
Only James. Only James is. My favorite Neil Young moment is the good old last waltz when he's obviously had some fun, and you can see it on his face, particularly in his nose.
$1 million, they say.
Bob Whiting says, I have a licensed Bigsby mount on my 2006 Les Paul, and I just completely disassemble it like every 2 or 3 years and clean it with alcohol and Q-tips. Then I'll leave it with graphite. I bet that probably works really well, right? And that's the thing with any of these moving parts, you know, whether it's Strat or whatever, you got to make sure they're not binding.
I love that down in the bottom. It's like, I didn't mean to start a debate. Neil is Canadian. Give him a break. I mean... You don't get a break for being a Canadian. Exactly.
You got to work harder when you're from Canada because you got to strike against you. I'm just playing.
There's only a handful of Canadians that I've met that I'm like, all right.
Now, have you ever spent any time in Canada?
No.
I've been in Canada with Robbie, you know, a handful of times. One of the guys I play for, and man, some of the night is really, honestly, not you know, I know we're joking. Some of the friggin' nicest people. So.
You thought I was joking?
I love Canadians. And the Bare Naked Ladies are from Canada, for God's sake.
Look at that, another strike on the board.
A musical treasure. Alanis Morissette.
Okay, hang on.
Shania Twain. Anyways. Serge says he didn't mean to start a debate. It's all good-natured fun, Serge. You know, I'm sure that, you know, not everything works for everybody, right? But And obviously, this is just my experience. I've always had really good luck with Bigsby's, and I've always found them to work really well. So, you know. But I love them. I love that style, and I love that sound. You know what I mean? And I've found most of the time when your Bigsby's not working great, it's just like anything else tuning issues. It's usually the nut on your guitar.
I agree.
Because usually what's happening is you're going down with all the strings. And they're not all coming back to where they were before at the same way. Like something's binding somewhere.
When that goes to my point too on the trim system thing, right? Like there's so many. Think about every area that the string does this, right? It angles at some point, right? Your saddles that causes an issue, and the nut causes an issue. If you're playing a Strat and you're using the Strat trim, the string tree causes an issue. Any point that something touches that string...
That's why you need the Big Ben's nut sauce.
That's it. Thank you.
You heard it here.
There you go.
That stuff actually is great. I know it's basically just liquid graphite, but it's got the best name. And I feel like it works better than the Diodario stuff. I don't know why. I just feel like it does. Well, here's a great... Okay, so for... You tell me how long. For months, I've been telling Sean, I think the tuners... I got a 78, a deluxe Telly. And I want to play it more because it sounds amazing, right? But I was having a little trouble getting it to stay in tune, and I thought it was those old tuners. How long have I been saying I can't make this guitar stay in tune? But I finally sat down with that thing after we tried. Me and Sean tried some tuners that I thought were going to be a drop-in replacement. They weren't, and I don't want to drill into it, right? I sat down the other day for hours and just, worked the strings through the nut. I didn't want to really file, and just played and played it and played it and played it for a week. Played it at a show the other day.
Rock and roll.
Stayed in tune the whole time. So, even when I was convinced it was crappy 70s tuners.
It's always the nuts, boys.
99.2% of the time.
I fixed a kid's guitar the other day. He's like, it's buzzing. It's buzzing. I need a new nut. I was like, you don't need a new nut. Watch this.
You need a new nut. But anyways, that's what it is.
It blew his mind, though, whenever I did file it down and it fixed it. He's like, oh, my God. I was like, yeah. I was like, see? It's okay. We'll fix, bud. That's all.
Mighty Woodrow 3 in says 3-in-1 oil works great, too. It does. He's correct.
I only use 10W30.
Let's see. Serge says, that's why I don't like roller bridges. The higher strings slide in the slots and it kills the thing. Yeah. I'm not a fan of the roller bridges either, man. I don't really dig that too much. But let's see. Bob, though, says he has a Gratech nut and a good roller bridge, and the three of them are a system. So I'm still kind of Serge. I've never really loved the roller nuts, but that word system, I think sometimes we forget everything works together, right? Like when you're trying to set up your guitar and make it play right. That is such a huge point. And I'm going to get nerdy, but I had a new student yesterday who's been playing for a while, and he wants to learn more about theory. Playing, and I kept telling him, I always tell my students this, you got to have like a system that you put everything in. So yeah, whether you are talking about playing guitar or making your guitar play well, it's a system. You got to have a system.
It is a system.
But no, that is wisdom.
I
Bob.
was explaining that to Dylan the other day. He called me on Saturday. I was out of the shop, and he said, I'm working on a Floyd Rose, and the bridge is pulling up. What do? I was like, well, Dylan, you want to think about it like this, right? All these pieces are bending and pulling together, right? You're working with like a teeter-totter, basically, right? So everything has to work together and fit evenly into itself. You can't just run with one end of it and hope it's gonna work. And he figured it out because he was like, teeter-totter helps. He's like, teeter-totter made me think. It's like, there you go.
That's
sometimes
exactly right.
It's just wrapping your head around it, and it sounds silly, but it's true. It took me a while, and I was like, oh, I get it.
That's it.
Nut sauce for the win.
Ryan, thank you so much. It's always the nut, baby. No questions. Just that's awesome. You're the man. We appreciate it.
The $4.99 makes me laugh.
I love the $4.99.
I like a $4.99. That's hilarious. It's always the nut.
Got a lot of shout outs for the old nut sauce. Homegrown Son says, so Sean has been able to practice his slide work on his slide, but yes, actually.
I have.
He's starting to make
You've heard me
functional noises on his slide, which is good.
What?
It's a big change. Jen Rye, hello sir. So many Gretches, is it Rockabilly Wednesday? We would never play Rockabilly.
Listen, there's only one man in this shop that likes Rockabilly, and I won't give him up. You know.
I think I do.
You know.
I think I do.
Buddy Holly himself,
I'm telling you right now, one of the best shows I've ever seen. Friggin' Brian Setzer. He's amazing.
Listen, if I took a bunch of acid and went to a show too, I'm sure it'd be great. I'm sure I'd love all kinds of stuff.
Almost any show's great.
Almost any show. So.
Almost. Not everything. Some things are scary. Some things are scary.
Like Brian Setzer.
I would like to see also a Bigsby on a Gretch bass. There you go. Mayor McChee says, who drops L at a Rockabilly show? I don't know. I don't know who would do such a thing. Tom, you are absolutely right. I mean, he really is. Brian Setzer really is.
Oh, I mean, he's great.
One of the absolute best at what he does.
Pretty fly for a white guy, homegrown Son says. I couldn't think of a better phrase. That's perfect.
My favorite thing about Rockabilly is their hair.
Yeah. The hair's always good.
That seems like it would be so much work. I don't think my hair would ever do that.
I think here's what ruined Rockabilly for me.
Psychobilly. No,
Well, yes.
Some of that stuff gets kind of wild.
Psychobilly.
So we're about to have people tell us it's amazing.
In my town, there was about like 500 rockabilly bands somehow. In a town that only
I know
300
that's true,
people lived in.
but it's really weird.
It is
that
really
there's a
weird.
rockabilly scene like near here.
Big, and it's like
But there is.
I just never I couldn't wrap my head around it. I don't know why. I think it was just so omnipresent that I got burned out at a young age. So
Yeah.
there you go.
I mean,
Rockabilly in Japan is a different story.
That
That would be cool.
Well, like, dude, even when you see Brian Setzer, right? The bass player is awesome, by the way. I wish I knew his name off the top of my head, but I don't. But he's got his hair, is this tall, and he's a little dude, and he's climbing up on that freaking stand-up bass and like playing it, and down low. And I mean, I kind of enjoy that part. The thing about it, right? At one point, rockabilly was just rock and roll.
Yeah.
And then things like it's weird sometimes to watch genres that were just this thing at some point become.
And have you seen this Chuck Berry clip? This deals with rock and roll and rockabilly in the origin, right? There's this clip on Instagram that was circulated of Chuck Berry, and it's like this man really got away with writing the same song for 40 years, and it like showed how all of his songs start with that.
Dangling. No,
Well,
not that one.
that. But the other ones there's like does something, and then it's like bum 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 bum. Well, and he starts it with the name of the song every time.
Yeah, well, last Christmas Elijah got super into the Rudolph, the Chuck Berry, and it was on the radio, and I was like, just started playing it. He's like, he thought it was like magic. I'm like, son, that's every Chuck Berry song. But run, Rudolph. I don't know. And listen, I appreciate Chuck Berry. He's definitely a huge influence on our pal Troy Van Leeuwen.
Oh, I love Chuck Berry too. I just thought it was funny. I saw that clip, and they went through like 15 songs and played the beginning. It's like, oh yeah.
I mean, obviously he was a talented guitar player and a songwriter. I think
You
some of
liked
his
him in
best
his
work
film work.
was on film. I was gonna say.
I was hoping you were going there. I didn't know. I was like, is he going? Is he aiming?
Oh God! And if you don't know what I'm talking about, be careful when you're googling. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's right.
Desert Billy, I'd be into that, man.
There is
Down there in the
more
cattle.
Troy footage coming, more Queens of the Stone Age footage coming.
Saturday comes
Saturday
is the drop of the rig rundown.
You heard it
Big
here first.
rundown on Saturday. I believe it's the first one in close to 6 years with Troy.
With him,
Yep.
and he's got a pretty wild rig, right?
He's got a nuts rig. I actually have been at home playing a lot of guitar this week and writing a lot of songs, and I definitely stole some inspiration from seeing his board. I was like, whoa. It's good stuff.
Ned's seen Chuck Berry's work.
I can't kiss you, baby.
Oh my Lord. Lord.
Oops.
Swamp Billy. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, good times. What else? Any fun things we need to talk about today, Derek?
Let me check the news.
Check the news. While Derek's checking the news, when Sean and I are in Nashville, obviously Sean's gonna have a camera. We're gonna have some pals with us.
Yep.
Like Jack and Rusty. And then also Jack wanted me to tell about some stuff today. We'll talk about that in a second too. But you guys let us know, because since you're our priority here, the people who come live stream with us every Wednesday morning, people who don't have real jobs. I'm mostly like us.
They're at work, Jonathan. They're at work. They're hiding.
I wish we were not suitable for work. That'd be great. If we were, what is it? NSFW? No. We're very friendly. We're work friendly. Let us know right now what you want us to go. What do you want to see us go do in Sean video? And I mean, obviously, you're gonna get some Gibson garage footage with all of us.
Okay.
So let us know what do we need. I mean, I think if we go see Guthrie Trap on Monday,
Yep.
we need to absolutely video a little bit of that.
I think we can go do that. I'll go ahead and reach out to him possibly and let him know, just in case we need like some kind of press pass. I don't think we will.
I don't think. No, I've been in Underdogs like
Never
the
been.
size of this little section. I mean, it's tiny, man.
Then maybe
because
we'll-
me and Derek went and saw Corey Cagilia there, and Corey might be playing too. So we'll do that for sure, and maybe maybe chat with some of those guys. Maybe, and I know that they don't get old Tom Bukovac out very often. I wish we'd have been there for that. That would have been awesome.
Dude, if I see Uncle Larry in the flesh, I'm gonna be like, bro.
We should reach out to him though, because
Just
he
show me how
said
to play a C chord. That's all I want to see.
we should tell him we just want to come say hi
Yeah.
if he's got time.
Ugh.
You know?
Ugh.
He said if we ever needed him, that we were sweet. We will check out the new Carters. That'll be cool.
That would be cool.
I'm sure we're gonna check out like all those places. You know.
Well, and-
Alex Holden Underdog is high on our list, so that's gonna be our Monday night excursion.
Alex was sending me. He was like, I don't know when you guys are going to Nashville. He was like, but you gotta go see Uncle Larry. I was like,
Yeah.
he's right.
We'll go see our pal Chandler play. Probably.
Yep. We gotta go see Chandler play. We gotta go and like heckle him too.
Oh yeah, that's the only reason to go.
Stop dancing.
Hey,
Play the song.
Dwight Yoakam called. He wants his hips back.
Sean's gonna get maced by Uncle Larry. It's
That would
gonna
be
worse
amazing.
than that.
I would like to see you get tased. If you're gonna get something
All right,
tased.
boys. Here's something.
If only he's big enough to have a bodyguard.
Here's something that has flown under the radar that
Uh-oh.
I don't even think this is news that we know about.
Throw it out there. Breaking news right here.
Breaking news to us.
Let's hear it.
Billy Gibbons, Jack White, Brent Mason, Keith Urban, all in attendance. Where, you say? The new Fender Nashville headquarters.
What?
Yeah. It just opened in Music City last night.
Why didn't we know this?
CEO Andy Mooney, Brad Paisley, Brent Mason, Billy Gibbons.
I was
in
there.
Nashville.
No, I
All
wasn't
right, so
Johnny, I'm just gonna
this is
quit.
definitely
I'm
news
gonna
to
pack
us,
it up.
and we feel like we're pretty good.
there. How did we not know this, man?
Is this Fender's Gibson garage?
Yes.
No, what?
Some of these photos.
We would never.
Bastards.
It almost looks kind of like a showroom.
Yeah, but listen, you know I love Fender. You know they have my heart. Their
They're
little
all
PA.
dead to me. They're all dead to me. I'm playing Echo
Listen,
Parks
well,
the day I die. You can all get bent.
I want to go see it. That does not look like as grandiose as the Gibson garage.
You know what
like
I
the
love,
stage.
too?
You know.
Here's what I love, boys. I love that their showroom wall looks an awful lot like a showroom wall that we built.
Of the back
No. I did think I was like they were here. When I saw that, I thought it looked like our back room.
I mean,
Which is also full of
we're
custom
gonna
shops.
dig into this. And this is going to be a thing that's open to the public.
Maybe we all do have to
I
go
think
now.
maybe y'all need to go barnstorming.
Well, heck yeah, we are.
Dude, I'm
I
gonna
mean,
kick
I
the
feel
door
like
in.
you know.
I'm done. Sean's done.
we tiptoe around Gibson because like we don't really have any real affiliation to Gibson, but man, Fender, dang. Jen Rice says they're going for that CVS Walgreens. I like to think of it as the Lowe's Home Depot dynamic, but yeah, man, that's weird, dude. This is a great point that Jose's made. Gibson also has the fact that the factory's in Nashville. Yeah, I mean, so like, there's sort of a historical thing for Gibson having a shop in where the factory is, right?
Why wouldn't Fender put theirs in California?
That exactly.
Other than
You know, well, there's some reasons, but none we'll talk about today. It's weird.
you guys ever just get that feeling that you're just gonna wake up every day, keep trying, and the boulder's gonna keep rolling over you?
That's crazy, Derek. Where did you see that at, man?
I just happened to be like a small article that I saw.
That's really strange. I mean, you'd think they would have made it a big thing if they were opening a.
I mean, it sounds like this is maybe geared more towards artists.
I was gonna say, to be fair, right? Like, from what it looks like, I mean, there's a few companies that have sort of little artist showrooms there because they know the musicians are there and they want you to be able to come check out stuff.
I mean, here's
like reps
here's
there.
Another, let me share this one.
Base
This
Wipe
shows
North
a
Carolina
little-
said
this
it.
shows a little bit more about it. It's in a sort of a beautiful spot. Boy, it looks just like our setup in the back.
It really does.
Looks like there might be some building going on, like a prototype.
Look at the little baby ant. Where is that, I wonder, in Nashville, Derek?
It's in East Nashville.
Does it? Okay.
It almost looks like it's in some sort of like.
I think I know where that building is. I don't know. That may be new. Who knows?
Interesting, right?
That almost looks where Ian White's tattoo shop used to be, but I don't know.
John saying.
Boys, I'll speak what we're all feeling. Not good, Bob. Not good. Y'all haven't seen The Incredibles, but maybe you did.
What do you mean they haven't seen The Incredibles?
I mean, they have. I'm talking about, This was before y'all had kids and stuff, you know.
It's the greatest because Fender makes the Telecaster, which made Nashville. It's reaching, Alan.
Your heart's in the right place.
I mean, what are they building in Nashville?
What do you mean?
Cancer.
What's Fender building out of Nashville right now?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I would say, and
It looks
man,
like an R&D prototyping place. I mean,
can you pull up that clip of Baby Billy with the whole like? And I
how do
made
do
nothing.
it? I do it because I'm selfless. I pay my researchers, my scientists.
Robbie
After
wants
all
to
that,
know. Listen,
I get nothing.
Robbie wants to know if there's any chance of a
Zero.
line of Fenders only available through Casino in the near future. We cannot speak on these things.
But we are going to California on Monday.
You could have saved yourself a trip. Could have gone to Nashville, Derek.
I know.
We're going to California.
There's some trips there's some things brewing.
Who knows?
We'll see.
We
We'll
might
see.
get out
Definitely
there.
something brewing, and you guys here in the live streams will have first dibs.
That's right.
Yeah,
when
for sure.
Stuff comes
We'll post some very cool. We'll think of some. We can come up with some cool.
So let's talk about this whole Telecaster build in Nashville because I think it's interesting, right?
Wait, what?
Let's discuss.
You talking about a Nashville telly?
No, well,
Or
no. Where did he go? Where's the comment? Alan Mitchell. Not picking on you at all, Alan. Just talking because I think it's interesting what you said. Says, he's saying they made it in the Fender thing in Nashville because they made the Telecaster and that made Nashville. I would say the California, that Bakersfield sound was probably a bigger Telecaster thing at first, Derek. Do you think that's accurate?
Bakersfield.
Maybe.
Because a lot of obviously there were tellies played a huge role in all that country stuff that did build Nashville. I don't know, man. A lot of what built Nashville early was probably, more acoustic stuff. When you walk around Nashville now, you see Gibson signs everywhere because obviously Gibson is there and they donate to things. You could maybe argue even that Chet Atkins built a lot of Nashville.
There you go.
Not necessarily a telly.
And what I think about is, for me, the most iconic music is the music that left Nashville. Like Waylon left Nashville. You know what I mean?
I just think even if we think to ourselves like, oh, the Nashville now is like the hot chicken picking thing. Well, that's not what they're doing in Nashville. For us, we're guitar players, right? So like we live in that world a little bit where we watch Guthrie Trapp play a telly, at the Underdog, and we think the world cares about that. And it's sad and it's kind of heartbreaking, but they don't. You know what I mean? Like if you go to Nashville, if I was a betting man, say you're going to see more PRSs, more Les Pauls, see a lot of Strats.
And not even just that. The last time I went was with you, and you went.
You see tellies, but it's not all.
After that,
you got to go to certain places to hear the kind of hot telly, like chicken picking kind of stuff.
I was gonna say it's more so like the playing, right? Like that to me is somewhat disappeared because we went and we were watching some guy perform 80s pop hits on a piano, like on a Nord keyboard. And he was like, I just graduated from Berkeley. Ba, 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 da. And I was like, okay, cool. That's what I came to this dive bar for.
No, and there's still, I kind of still think the best guitar, and I'm probably biased, I think the best guitar players in the world are in Nashville for the most part. Obviously there's outliers and there's guys who are amazing who are not in Nashville, but the concentration of just like amazing guitar players per capita, it's hard to beat Nashville. And it's just there's just a lot of it's just not all tellies. It's not all guys playing tellies anymore. Yeah. Ryan Chilton said modern country gear finally caught up with rock gear circa 2001. Kind of, sort of. And a lot of it is because a lot of modern country now are taking those sounds from 2000s rock and southern rock, and it's
kind of magical.
Pop. Well,
it's not like you to say sorry.
You just think back to like when Florida Georgia Line was sort of on top of the world, and say what you will about but Cruise, it was huge how long that was the number one hit and how long it was number one on the Billboard charts, but not a telly to be found on stage.
Lots of skinny jeans.
Like three guitar players, right?
PRSs.
A lot
of PRSs.
PRSs.
What was great, is through them wearing skinny jeans, it made it okay for me to walk around my town wearing skinny jeans. I was like, yeah.
Baby, you a song. We should ask. I mean, so we're pals with Brian Bonds. He was the guitar player for all that time in Florida Georgia Line. PRS guy, amazing player, and he can do the country stuff. But he's an amazing rock player. I mean, he's just an amazing player, generally.
Yes, yeah.
But he's a PRS guy, and I'd love to know. I remember moving to Nashville. I thought, man, I need a Telecaster. Wouldn't really matter. No, I've always loved Telecasters, but I've never, I didn't start out loving them and playing country music really per se.
I want to give a quick shout out to Surrender for the lunch buy. That's awesome, and also the Ghost is a killer guitar.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I love everything about it. I'm going to talk to you later on just to see if make sure everything's going good with it. I just want to see what your experience with it is.
Can we talk a little bit about what I think realistically the maybe the small issue?
We can. I wanted to see what his was. Go ahead. It'll be fine.
Well,
Surrender's cool. He'll be
I went back and forth to see if he said this to us. And this is that not even necessarily a knock. I think it was just a rush thing. And that's why I'm kind of interested to see. You might not have this problem at all. Some of the ones we saw where they sprayed that fretboard white, had some paint on the frets, and it came off. Now, it didn't really cause a problem. You actually raised. Did you razor blade some of them?
I had to pull it off. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, because obviously you can't rub the strings against the paint on the frets.
The first thing that happened with one of the ones that we had come in was you played it and you would bend up and I looked down, I was like, oh,
flag off.
There's paint everywhere. But it only was on the frets. That's the only area that it was coming off at. So.
Well, yeah, because they sprayed that metal paint. And they should have done that. Obviously, that was the little slip up. But otherwise, that guitar was amazing. You know what I mean?
It was incredible.
And I don't think that's a big deal. Other than,
yep.
I think Fender should have cleaned that up for a guitar that's that cool and special and cost that. So just be interested to see if that was something that just slipped through on us or
yeah.
Could
have been a one-time thing.
And especially the,
What?
But no, and
it's great.
I don't think we're saying that at all to discourage you, because I think it's a cool guitar.
It's amazing.
Because all of us were like, man,
it was pretty good.
It was the most fun we'd had on the guitar for a while, probably.
Yes. Well, to play like rock on it, dude.
Because it just sounded so good. Well, you won't have to check. You'll know.
You want to talk about a dilemma?
And it's not a big problem. I mean, it's not like it's a horrible problem. It's just off-putting.
Well, here's what that guitar would be great for, right? Something that I've been doing for the last couple weeks. C standard. Like I've been putting my strats in C standard. It's a little tough. It's a little tough. It's a little tough. It's not, Me
it's too. I've been putting my guitars in.
I love
B flat standard.
I love the tone, and I love writing in that. It's been a lot of fun. So I guess what I'm asking is, I'm torn between going hardtail Strat, because I love a Strat sound, and the sounds that I get out of my Strat I like. It's just setup wise, it's a little tricky, and the way, I got the trim system all the way locked in, right?
Yeah.
But
to get down to C.
That's right, but it's not. It's still, it's still got the thing, it's still doing the thing a little bit. So, am I better off at looking at hardtail Strats down the line? Or do I go for something crazy, like I was thinking about talking to Gabriel and being like, look, dog, what do you suggest? Or do I do something completely out of the norm, like something wide open and different,
Let's see. I feel like Travis must ask a question. What do you guys think of the new 59 Epiphones? Funny you should ask. We had the 355 here until yesterday. We actually did a video.
It's sitting right beside you.
Nope, that's Baxter's.
That's Baxter's. Yeah.
Derek didn't even know the vintage one is beside me, not the 59 Epiphone. There you go.
That's how close they are. I mean, seriously though, it is a great guitar. It's pretty good.
I mean, is it as good as this? 1961 355? No. It was easier to play, honestly, and I kind of probably prefer the Vic profile. But there's something magical about Baxter's. Vintage one, and there's a sound that like the new one, but I would have played that friggin' the 59 all day long at a gig. And I was watching, I looked at the video we put out, and man, I'm sitting there playing it. It's really hard to tell. I mean, if this matters to you, looking at that headstock, man, it's hard to even know that it's an Epiphone. You glance, you'd be like, oh, a Gibson. So you probably can't go wrong with those things. I thought they were pretty darn good.
So we got some responses here. We got hardtail strats are tough, Sean. Boss tones. Use a better hardtail bridge and it isn't as tricky.
Nope.
Hardtail strat with the B bender.
I like the Bigsby strat.
Get a sure claw. You know my input. Where's my? I'll check on that whenever I get back into the shop. I'll see. It's got to be.
There's all sorts of things we're checking on. I was checking on. I saw Ryan on here earlier, Ryan Chilton. I was just checking on your guitar yesterday too, man. I don't know if I told you that or not, but
it's almost
I figured it would be here.
It's almost like there was a video about that. Yes, I'm sure there was. I just have failed to go and look on the YouTube. I like to mess around and tinker before.
I think he's talking about the Epiphone.
The Epiphone.
You
did a video?
No. I would never do a video. Some guy told me yesterday about, he was talking about tuning. He's like, tune first, play second. And I had to put a snarky reply. I couldn't help myself. Most of the time I leave it, but sometimes things just rub me wrong in the moment. And so if you see my sort of catty reply to this man.
Tune first, play second. Okay.
I was like, oh my, thank you so much. Wow. I was missing it. But, you know. Whatever you can say.
Spit first, jerk second, boy. Get out of my face.
Well, let's see. Thanks. I was thinking. Well, let's see. But anyways, yeah, there you go. Yeah, but no, go check it if you're interested in the Epiphone. Go check it out. I mean, we didn't. I just said I thought it was good, the video, and let you hear it versus the actual vintage 355, which it was just cool because we had an actual vintage 355.
They're magical though. That one was really good. Epiphone's crushing it right now.
Which is funny because historically I have not liked Epiphone. I've never enjoyed Epiphone, and it's not because I'm like a snob, a Gibson snob or anything. I just have never. I've wanted to like them in the past, and just always thought, like I would have always much rather had a Squire.
Right.
You know us rich YouTubers. You know how we are.
I've had a similar relationship with Epiphone. Funny enough, it's only been up until recently that I've been like, oh wow, I played a couple.
Because some of the new ones, the one that I played sitting in the other night was not the inspired. It's the inspired by Gibson. It's not the 59. Like it's got the different headstock still, but that was a killer one. That's a killer little friggin'.
Going to Guitar Center and being able to touch some of the Gibson headstock ones was pretty cool. I was like,
we're gonna play all sorts of ridiculous things at the Gibson Garage when we're there.
And apparently the Fender
acoustics
Garage
too, and the Fender, the new Fender Garage. I wish I hope it has some crazy name. Like it can't be the Garage. It's got to be alliteration. The Fender Firehouse or something like that. You know what I mean? It's got to be some 2 F's. 2 G's, 2 F's.
Don't worry, I caught a couple of those. The
Fender Frat. Fender Frat House. Something with an F. I don't know. We'll suggest that to him when we're there. No.
That's right. Trying to decide between a Telly and a Les Paul at the moment. The American Vintage Reissue 2 or something like that.
All right, Travis, let's talk about this thing. What kind of stuff do you play? What do you play now? I would like to know. A Telly and a good Les Paul and a good Telly can be more similar than people might want to think.
Yes, I think I'm a firm believer they live pretty close together. I mean, there's definite differences, but guitar-wise, I mean, there's a similarity in playability there. It depends though. Like, the Telly is gonna do a Telly thing, right? Famous phrase of "it's a hammer."
Well, they both can do that like rock and roll grind thing.
Yep.
And then I think when you get away from that, right, the Les Paul does this sort of like warm, sustaining thing that can get muddy, right? But the Telly can get harsh.
And can get a little picky.
But you're never gonna get the like. Well, I shouldn't say never. Just even the scale length makes it a little different. Like the attack on that Telly is like jumping out there.
Let me ask you this: do you think a reasonable meeting in the middle would be like a
NHS,
well, I was gonna say, what's his name?
Keith Richards.
Yeah, Keith Richards. Something like that,
McCall,
or what's his name? We went and saw him in concert. He's in the Winery Dogs.
Oh, Richie Kotzen.
Richie Kotzen, like the Richie Kotzen Telly with the mini humbucker in it.
I chased that for years because I thought that, and now I just kind of think, man, Don't get one thing that does both things okay. Don't middle grounds. The older I get and the more I play, the more I'm against middle grounds.
There you go.
You know, I tried it with like acoustic and electric things for a long time, and I still have to like slap myself out of that occasionally because it would fit a purpose for me. But you know, no, buy a good Telly, buy a good Les Paul. If you can only do one, figure out which one you want more, and buy that.
I think that's fair.
And you know, get the other one later. But I mean, I just yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. What's cool with the American Vintage reissue too, if you could get one with a wide range in it, in the
Those
neck.
are cool, and also its own thing.
That's right. And if you decided later on, you could always just swap the wide range out for a straight up humbucker.
Yeah, the wide range are a little bigger, but with the pickup rings, you could probably do it. You know, you can
I'm sure somebody makes a conversion.
And well, they for sure do. And also, Lawler even makes a friggin' wide range that's humbucker size. It doesn't matter. But anyways, Richie Cotton Telly.
Yeah.
Not to say that's not a great guitar, because it is. I don't know if I haven't been reading the comments, but I just don't think it's like necessarily like get that to be your Les Paul.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but I do think it's a cool guitar.
Yeah, if you were looking
And
for
it's a big
something,
old fat neck,
if
man.
you were looking for something that kind of like blends the two almost, it does that in my opinion. Like it does. It doesn't do a Les Paul thing, and it doesn't really do just a Telly thing. It's somewhere right in the middle of those two.
Yeah.
And they're so close together already. That's where I think it's a little bit of the best of both worlds, sort of.
Okay. Surrender says his frets are cool. That was were like the first ones right when they came out.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I'm
we got
sure
them quick.
that it was a rush thing and it was just an overlook. And again, nothing was wrong. But that's what we say about like, oh, your shop. If you got a shop that you got a relationship with, they're sort of your last line of quality control, right? Like, it would have sucked for that to go to the customer that way because they probably would have been soured a little bit on an amazing guitar. Do you know what I mean? Over something that was just probably overlooked. So
Don't worry. Ned also solved the question for Telly or Les Paul. He said, "You want a Jag stain? Is what you want."
The Fender Tornado.
That's the guitar if I've ever seen.
Somebody asked him there, and I've lost it. But if you can only have one guitar to play and own, what would it be? I know what yours would be. Strat.
Wrong. Yeah.
The Vox sitar, electric sitar.
Exactly. Yeah.
Don't come around here no more.
Funny enough, though, I think it would be a Strat. But gosh, I could own 50 Strats and still be like they all.
When they still all be different. Okay, here's what I hate. I hate this a lot, but it's true. At this point, I could own just a Strat and be pretty darn happy. I could own just a Telly, especially if it's the right Telly, and be really happy. I could own just a 335 and be really happy.
in a very similar light, that's what's tough to think about is like I could play my SG for the rest of my life. The same thing with like a 335. Like if I had your 335, I'd be like, dude. There's something about like if you can find like a really good guitar, and I mean something that is just dead nuts, dude. You could sit there and I could play it every day.
Let me tell you about a 335 dilemma I had last night. So last night, I have not played my 335 a lot lately. I've been on a Strat kick, man, just because I was playing one night, broke a string in 335, went to the Strat through the Magnetone, and it was just glorious. And I've just been on this. Every time I've done that since then, the tone has just been like, oh, just good. So I been doing that, right? Mm-hmm. Last night I was like, man, I just want to play my 335. So I break it out. I put new strings on it. Haven't played it for a gig. Took it to the gig though and played the Strat. But I put it out on the stand.
Mm-hmm.
It was humid. And when I went to play that thing last night, the strings were fine because they're elixirs. But I went to go, and you know that scratchy feeling when you bend, like you can't bend? It was disgusting. So I immediately loosened the strings, pulled them off to the side, went and got my little D'Addario micro things, and scrubbed all those frets down until they were like polished up, right?
Nothing makes me cringe more than the feeling of the resistance.
Oh my god!
Whenever you know,
but it's like, you know what? That's one of those things where it's like one day the glass shatters and you can never undo it because there were years I didn't realize, and I never polished my frets. If I took my guitar to get set up, I guess they did. But my frets would be green or brown or whatever. You know what I mean? And You just think, okay, well, that's what it feels like. But man,
bending and feeling it.
But now, once you realize you can polish your own frets, that is a friggin' game. Baxter would be in here and be like, what?
What are you talking about?
There's frets on your guitar?
You can hear it like if he's playing.
Baxter, to be such a like finesse player, I've never seen a man care less about a setup. He just plays anything. It's kind of sickening and it's irritating because he still sounds good. It doesn't matter. But like, us normal people need guitars.
I don't
to work.
believe in setups.
Don't set it up.
Don't set it up.
The grime on the frets, God, dude, oh, it's horrible. Anyways, I'm just thinking, man, do you think cheap fret material, do you think poor fret material is more susceptible to that? Or do you think it's just nickel frets in general are going to be more susceptible to tarnishing?
I worked at a place that bought really cheap ukuleles, and I remember opening up ukulele boxes, and the frets were already green when you open up the box. They were probably using the cheapest fret wire you could find, so I can only assume it has to play some part to the Mojo, right? Some part to the funk.
I think it does, man. I mean, when I lived in Charleston, frets were always turning green because it was so humid all the time, and you're by that salt air, you know. Yeah. And I remember this is the first time I had bought this weird like semi-hollow Ibanez. I don't even know why I bought it. I was at Myrtle Beach, and there used to be a place at the beach called Andy's in the mall. It was like a guitar store. And anyways, I'd gone to the beach. I'd wrecked my truck. I'm
an Ibanez man now.
Well, this is like over 20 years ago.
He was drinking Bud Light, crushing some Bud Lights and some Bud Heavies. He was mixing diesel and gasoline.
No, you just never know what's gonna happen.
He is going hard.
Going hard, Hoss. But anyways, I had a little money because I had gotten this insurance check, and we're there. And Christy was all like, man, I'm glad you didn't die. You should just buy a guitar. And I was like, heck yeah, I will. And I played a bunch of guitars, and it was a neat, like, artcore thing. And I played it for a while. But then I came to my senses about 6 months later. I was like, why do I buy this guitar? So back then it might have been eBay. It probably wasn't Reverb, I think. Yeah, for sure wasn't Reverb. It was eBay. Sold that thing on eBay in, like, mint condition. Because there was nothing, right? But the frets were green, and that was not even a consideration. And the dude ripped me a new one. You said this thing's in mint condition. These frets are up, and they weren't worn. They weren't like divoted. They just needed polishing, right?
You posted photos of it, right?
Yeah, but back then it looked like a friggin' you're like, well,
like
this is not now where you pull it up and it's in friggin' high definition and you can see every pore in the wood. And this was not that. This was like 2004 or 3 maybe, but yeah, just really funny. But no, I do wonder about that. And I wonder, like, because I believe 2013, 2012 is a good year for used Gibsons. Yeah. Everyone I've played, I had a 2013 traditional. My 335 is 2013. I think those are good years for used Gibsons if you can find them. But
you get 2014, 2015.
That still doesn't mean they weren't using cheap fret wire. And I'm just wondering.
Nah.
Maybe they were using crap fret wire. Well, man, I worked there around that time, so
the fret gremlins were coming out and they were chewing on your frets. That's what was happening.
Definitely using cheap like knobs and stuff, but I shouldn't say that. Gibson's gonna be like, "How dare you say this? It's libel, and slander,
you thought,
cease and desist."
You thought you were coming into our garage?
No,
Get the fuck out.
I don't know. Whatever. I'm glad I got to work at Gibson. That was it was a horrific experience, but I learned and saw a lot of things.
Different time point.
Oh, it was that was for sure.
And that guy was apparently out of his mind.
Dude.
He went and told George Gruen what he was going to do, and George Gruen told him what he was going to do.
And it's wild that, you look back at the 80s and that dude really bailed out Gibson by all accounts. You know what I mean? So I don't know if he just went crazy or what. Henry.
Old Henry.
The Henry years.
Does it get better than that?
Who could know? Who could know? I don't know. We're back to talking about Jimmy using a telly on the first albums. It's true, though. He did.
Dude, did I send you the clip of the comedy night at the Rec Room?
Oh, no. God.
Yeah.
You did, but I didn't watch it. So we got a Rec Room here that's like a barcade.
So this guy, this is guitar related, right? It's a barcade, like Johnny was saying, right? And this guy, they did their first comedy night. Okay, we've done comedy
on the outside patio,
right? So there's like all these plastic chairs set up and stuff, and everybody's sitting out there.
I've never even been to the outside part.
Oh, it's
I've never been there without my kids though, so I'm always just like chasing them around when they play the Star Wars game and junk. So
well, it's it's okay. It's an all right spot to do something like that. Not much of one,
I'm
It's
just in there drinking. My kids playing games.
It's the worst spot to try and do comedy.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like 50 people there, right?
You might as well have a wedding.
Well, they had a decent crowd, right?
Well, we've seen some rough local comedy too, by the way.
This guy who they start their video, and this guy has a joke, and he was like, but like, I'm just sick of hearing Jimmy Page is the greatest guitar player ever. It's 2024. Who cares? And then, like, he pans and no one laughs. It's just silence.
Because everyone's there like, who's Jimmy Page? What's a guitar?
Yeah. And then he goes, well, all right, let's get our first person up. Like, just crickets.
Who was the MC?
It was not good.
Oh, it was the MC that made the joke?
If you shoot me,
warm them right up.
Shoot me a message, and I'll share you this video because it's hilarious. It's like a total bomb. It's like, shut up.
I mean, Jinrai is right. Like, I would never. I won't say I would never. I'd stand up and talk in front of strangers. I don't care.
I get that. Yeah.
But it would be brutal, man. No guitar. You're just standing there with the mic trying to be funny. I feel like as soon as you're trying to be funny, it is exponentially harder to be funny.
Yeah.
You know?
And here's the thing, too. Making a really dumb joke like that, I can't remember exactly what the joke was, but it was outlandishly stupid. Like, it was so dumb. Let me see here. I'll pull it up so that you can see it real quick.
Mayor McCheese, it is, well... It's the one where, like, I think part of it is pod. There's the pod racing one, but it's the one where you're, like, killing the Death Star and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty cool.
They got some good games.
They got some really cool games, man. They got the old Virtua Fighter that, like, looks like Tekken before Tekken was Tekken, which is really fun. My son always thinks he can beat me, but he can't.
How about fucking Led Zeppelin had the best guitars of all time? We don't care.
Send it over to me, Sean. Airdrop it.
Yeah, airdrop it to Derek. Man, we're just like freaking Joe Rogan. Just like Joe Rogan. Throwing things up.
Put it in the group.
Anyway, yeah. So
there is Time Crisis as well.
Thanks for you guys.
Yeah, all the good ones.
It's gonna be a great night, filled with a lot of fun.
My singer's great at getting dad jokes to stick during gigs. No one can beat him at that. That's pretty impressive. Jokes at gigs are hard too sometimes, right? Because I don't know, you just never know.
Here, I'm sending it to you directly, Derek. There you go. It's amazing. It's the most, like, bombing of a bomb clip I've ever seen of a Jimmy Page joke. I got it sent to you, Derek. See if you can pull it up for the boys.
Send it to me on Facebook?
Yep. Yeah.
Thank you, Arthur. While you're pulling that up, I don't know if Jack, are you still here? Give us the old sign in the comments if you're still around. Give us the sign.
All right, let's see.
Fucking Led Zeppelin had the best guitars of all time. We don't care about Jimmy Page, dude. Come on, let's move on. It's 2024. Anyway, yeah. So, that being said, a couple things for you guys. It's gonna be a great night.
Just wanted to say,
a lot of fun. Over here, we do.
He thought there was a little more overlap with the open mic crowd. The guitar player open mic crowd.
It's dead. It's just like,
Yeah.
well, you really set those boys up for failure.
I mean, if you were gonna go hard on Jimmy Page, it wouldn't be about his guitar playing if it was me. But
and
hey,
everyone is at least like 40. It's like, know your crowd, bro. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, it's not even that they don't agree. I don't think they literally are like, what is he talking about? Who? Jimmy Page? Does he live here? Is he a thing?
He's gonna. Hopefully he doesn't come down to the shop and say, I can't believe you did that.
I hope he's here, sir. Let's talk.
Listen, I love Kill Tony. I love seeing people bomb because you know what happens when you bomb? You get better.
Alan is right. Us guitar players know that he isn't the greatest, but they love him. We love him anyway. That's right. That's right. We know that things are going. Okay, so Jack wanted me to talk about. Derek threw out. He was pimping me out. He said that if anybody wants to sponsor a house concert, that we would pack up and I'd come play and we'd do it, right?
And explain a little bit how house concerts work.
So, well, and I think that's what Jack was wondering and you know, how to make that happen. What we would need. Our criteria is not that great. We just need lots of money.
And alcohol.
Well, yeah, or some combination. But so typically in a house concert, right? Like you would have an artist coming through. You would invite your friends. A lot of them that I've been a part of, Derek, and you might have had a different experience or maybe more experience. It's sometimes it's donations, right? Like it's not necessarily a set ticket price, but you're just trying to get that artist there, have a show. It can be fairly intimate. I've done ones in living rooms. I've done huge ones in like backyards with a couple hundred people, but it doesn't have to be that, right? It could be 20 people. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, it's a little trickier to raise the money with 20 people unless you've all got,
So, a lot of times they can be held in somebody's house.
Yep.
They can be held in a church. Sometimes
Church is a great
will do
idea.
A house concert.
Yep.
Sometimes people will, they'll rent out their little, if you live in a little subdivision and it happens to have like a little party room, you'll set up in there, like a little pool house sort of a thing, or that type of deal.
Yeah.
Usually donation based or ticketed.
So it could be ticketed. It could be any of those things. Just
And it's an opportunity to get to be one-on-one with an artist, support them directly, and have access to somebody that is, it's mostly acoustic.
yeah, for sure.
Sometimes it's an acoustic show, and they're usually songwriters or, performers.
And I mean, some of the ones I've been a part of are a little more. You can ask questions in between. You get to interact in maybe a different way than you would sometimes. But I mean, all we'd really need is, if it was really far away, we'd need to string a few together, probably to make it make sense. So, like, Jack, if we did one in Kansas City, we would just probably try to find one or two in between here and there.
Ohio, Virginia, West Virginia, stuff like that.
Yeah, just to make it make sense a little bit. Tennessee, wherever, it doesn't matter. But, I mean, there's no hard fast, we have to have this or we have to have that. It's just figuring out the logistics. But, if anybody is really interested, hit us up and we will we'll figure it out. We'll do it.
And sometimes it can be in conjunction with a guitar clinic.
That's right.
So
Like if we want to do a clinic,
in the afternoon for a price, and then included in the evening is the concert, and you can buy merch, you can
all that stuff.
So it's a neat. And usually you're hosted by the people, so a lot of times the artist will stay with you.
That's right.
If somebody's got an Airbnb that they'll let you have for the night, but it's really a way for people to support the artist directly without a lot of middlemen.
Yep, that's right. So, but no, Jack, we could absolutely work that out, man. That would be super easy. I don't think that would be hard to work out, us coming to Kansas City at all.
Same thing with Will Cut. That thing to point out, too, is if there is a shop nearby, you can talk to them about it, and you could do the guitar clinic there at their shop, maybe, if that's what they're into. Some people are super into that.
Somebody was asking about someone being at O'Donnell's.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know if they were asking about you or if they were asking about somebody else.
I played at O'Donnell's a few weeks ago, but maybe the guy hosting the open mic or the comedy guy was at O'Donnell's last week. I don't know.
I'm assuming that's what they maybe meant. They might have meant you, but I don't think so.
So the answer to both questions may be yes.
Perhaps.
All right.
But
so,
I for sure did.
as we kind of wrap this up, check out today's video, the all-new Guitar Center experience.
Bingo.
There you go.
Find out if your Guitar Center near you's been selected as one of the premium GC locations filled with gear, guitars, higher quality guitars, not locked up.
Or if you got the short end of the stick and they took all the guitars from your Guitar Center to send to these stores.
Yeah, probably.
Could have probably happened that way. We're just kidding. Yeah, we know Doug needs a mic. We'll one day he's gonna have headphones and a mic, and
I just want to point out
we'll be
too,
legitimate.
Tom Beatty has a wonderful, wonderful tour name. The Donut McCheese Master Beatty Surrender Tour. That's good.
The Casino Supergroup.
It's amazing.
I like it.
I love it.
All right, boys. Well, thank you for
Oh,
everything.
Jimmy Page, wasn't he the guy who played Odie's? Okay,
Play
now
us a song.
now I get it. I'm sorry that we're slow. That's hilarious. Play us a song. You're the piano man. Play us a song, Sean. You're the only one acousticy.
How's it go?
Sure.
know that one. We're gonna do something different. Here, you wanna do some knocking on heaven's door?
No, I don't.
Mama, take this badge from me. I can't use it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark to see. Oh boy. Feel I'm knocking on heaven's door. Gotta sing and play at the same time now. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Uh-oh. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Click like, click subscribe.
And hit the bell.
Fade us out, Derek.
Don't
Going out
fade.
on the wind.
He's right in the middle. He's right in the middle.
Yeah.
We love you all. Thanks for tolerating us.
Thanks for dealing with it, baby. That was fun.
See you next time.
There you go.